let's start talking about websites. So what are websites for? Websites are for a lot of different kinds of things, but one of the ways to look at it is your congregation's primary online platform for branding itself, for showing who it is in the world, and for communicating. It shows who you are, what you do, why it matters. And your website connects users to information, and that's information that is both logistical, like where to park on a Sunday, and also emotional, like, am I going to find a place here? Is this a congregation for me? And in the website, the medium of the website is the message in many ways. So it's not just your words, but as we talked about before with user experience, you need to have an interface that feels good to deal with. If it's frustrating to use your website, people will assume your congregation is frustrating, or at least they're having a frustrating experience with you, which you don't want. So we've been thinking a lot about websites with outreach because we have been working on and have released a WordPress theme for congregations to use to build their own websites. And many of you might be using this already. We've had about 300 downloads of this theme already from UU congregations, and probably about 25 or 30 have already launched their sites with the new theme. One of the things that we have been talking about with the congregations is how much our websites are our front door. And that was a piece that Peter Bowden shared in the video that you watched in preparation for this. And we've got to embrace this. We have to make it an engaging front door and an effective front door. And one of the ways to do that easily and inexpensively without tons of design costs is to use the UUA theme. One of the biggest tools for outreach that a congregation has is its website. And in response to congregations really wanting to be able to do better web work, but not necessarily having the tools, the capacity, the large sums of money to throw at it, our outreach office worked with developer Christopher Wolf to create a template. It's actually a UUA WordPress theme for congregations is what it's called. It uses WordPress, and we released it in October of 2015. WordPress is basically it's a content management system. It's a structure to build a site from, and it's an open source tool that has users from all over the world using it. And you can think of WordPress like the foundation of the website. And the WordPress theme that was created, it has design elements, it has functions that display the worship services, functions that display the events, functions that generate sidebars with the information and make it easy to find the congregation, etc. The theme is a little bit like the frame of a house. And then the congregation fills it in, builds the walls and builds the floors and all of that with their own pictures, their own stories, their own content that makes the website come alive. In designing the theme, we had a number of priorities for congregations, and these are priorities that are helpful for all congregational websites, whether you're using the theme or not. Something that focuses on users' needs and the needs of the audience, where people are going to be able to find the information they need, and that is emotional information and also logistical information. Also, that our sites would have a high level of accessibility that reflects our Unitarian Universalist commitment to including all people, that sites can be accessible with screen readers for people with low vision, that they can be navigated by moving around with arrows if you needed to, if that was a technology that you were using rather than a mouse, etc. Also, we sought to encourage best practices in terms of being able to have content that is easily shareable, content that is going to stay refreshed and not require lots and lots and lots of staff hours to maintain. Further, responsive design, which you may have heard of. This is a big piece of what an effective website is today. More and more people are accessing websites through mobile devices, through phones, smartphones, through iPads, through other tablets, etc. And on mobile, you may have noticed that some websites just look very tiny and you have to kind of go like this to make them big. Those are unresponsive sites. And a site, if you're in the business of developing a new site for your congregation, it must be responsive these days in order to reach people effectively, because our target audiences, the people that we are trying to connect with, are using mobile very frequently. We also wanted a design that reflected our bold and compassionate and reverent identity, something that was bright colored, something that felt vibrant and exciting. And different congregations have different colors, different logos, different things that they go with. But we went with the UUA's new color palette and really sought to convey that our congregations are exciting places. Sometimes our design can tell a different story, and that's not the story that we want to be telling about ourselves. We want to be able to show that we are vibrant, that we are interesting, that we are fun, that we are a place that people will want to be a part of. And we also wanted to just recognize some of the challenges that congregations have in developing and maintaining websites, the financial challenges, the challenges of some congregations. They end up having a site that's maintained by a volunteer who may or may not have a lot of time available, who might get burned out, and that no one else knows how to use. We wanted to use a platform that multiple people could have multiple levels of access to create content and make it easy to do that, and to advance the congregation and to advance Unitarian Universalism. So really, a website is about conveying an experience. Now, I just talked about all these technical pieces, but when it comes together, it's an experience. People come to a website and within just a few seconds, if even that, they make a decision about whether they're in the right place, whether they're on the right website, whether they're going to find the information that they want, whether it feels like some kind of a website they want to explore. So we want to convey an experience that is positive and warm. And it also connects with our congregations doing outreach in general, in that people are not so much looking for a place where everybody believes the same thing. People are going to a place because they want to have a shared experience. And the kinds of beliefs that people have are less and less important. This is research that's been confirmed in a number of studies of the trends in American religion. Elizabeth Drescher wrote about it in her studies of people who identify with no particular religion, the nuns, that it's about wanting to have a shared experience. And the more that we can convey that experience with our online presence, the better off we are. And so here's a screenshot of the UUA theme for congregations. This is from our demonstration site. And so looking at it, what do you think? What do you feel? Does it look like a place you want to explore? Does it look interesting, engaging? And thinking about your own website, say if you click on that in just a few seconds, what are some of the things that you take in? How does the experience of being part of your congregation show up on that site?